Welcome to the video lecturing on BSc 6 Mathematics, paper 6.2 Fluid Mechanics, Statistical Analysis, Calculus of Variations and Topology. Let us study about the statistical analysis. So in this, let us study about probability. Let us take some basic definitions of probabilities. First, let us take the definition of exhaustive event. An event which consists of all various possibilities of happenings is known as exhaustive events. That is, suppose we have to suppose we have a coin. If we toss the coin, then the possible outcomes are only two, that is either head or tail. So this is known as exhaustive event. Let us take one more definition: mutually exclusive event. Here, two or more events are said to be mutually exclusive event if the happening of one event prevents the simultaneous happening of the others. So that is here also we can take the same example. In tossing a coin, getting head and tails are mutually exclusive. That is here, if we get a head, we cannot get tail. Similarly, vice versa. Let us take one more definition: independent event. So here, two or more events are said to be independent events if the happening of one event does not prevent the happening of the other. So here also we can take this tossing two coins simultaneously. Suppose if we toss two coins, we get two tails, two heads, one tail, one head, or the vice versa. So that is getting both heads on the different coins doesn't depends on two coins. So we get head in one coin, so it doesn't affect getting head in another coin. So therefore we can say that these two are independent event. Let us take the definition of a mathematical definition of a probability. If there are n exclusive, mutually exhaustive, equally possible outcomes of a given trial, and out of them m are favorable cases to a particular event E, then the probability of happening of an event E is denoted by P of E or P, and is defined by P of E is equals to P, and it is equals to m by n. That is number of favorable cases divided by number of all possible cases. So let us take one note here. Here probability of an event E is greater than or equals to 0 and less than or equals to 1, because here the number of all possible cases in the denominator and number of favorable cases in the denominator, and we know that number of favorable cases are always less than or equals to number of all possible cases. Therefore this probability is always in between 0 and 1. So if P of E or probability of an event is 0, then E is called impossible event. And second one, if probability is equals to 1, then E is called a sure event, because when the probability is equals to 1 means number of favorable cases is equal to number of all possible cases. So here we can have it is, and we can say that it is an sure or this one sure event. Let us take random experiment. The experiment or trial, when performed repeatedly giving different results or outcomes, are called random experiments. So we can take an example of a die. So here we have 6 or 8 numbers on the dice, so we can get different numbers when we do the same, when we do repeatedly this performance. Let us take a sample space. A set consisting of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called a sample space and is denoted by the letter S. So that is here this sample space means, so we know here a set consisting of all possible outcomes of a random experiment. Let us take an example of tossing two coins. Suppose we have two coins, then if we toss two coins, then the possible outcomes are here. We get either both head or one head and tail head and both tail. So this set is known as sample space and is denoted by the letter S. Next one is, let us take one more definition of a probability. We can call it as axiomatic definition of a probability. If S is a sample space and E is the set of all events, then to each event A of E, there associates a unique real number P is equals to P of A, called the probability of an event A if it satisfies the following conditions. That is, P of S is equals to 1, and second one is P of A is always greater than or equals to 0, less than or equals to 1 for every event A in E. And last one is, if A and B are mutually exclusive events of E, then P of A union B is equals to P of A plus P of B. So here we can have some other we have some different events. So there we have some different rules. Suppose if A and B are mutually exclusive events, then P of A intersection B is equals to 0. And second one, if A and B are not mutually exclusive events, then P of A union B is equals to P of A plus P of B minus P intersection B. This is also known as additive rule. And third one is P of A union B, which is less than or equals to P of A plus P of B. And last one, P of B divides A is equals to P of A intersection B divided by P of A is known as conditional probability. And fifth one, P A intersection B is equals to P A and B, we can say here, is equals to P of A into P of B by A is called mutual, this multiplication rule. And last one is, if A and B are two independent events, then P of B by A is equals to P of B. Therefore here we can say that P of A intersection B is equals to A and B is equals to P of A into P of B. Let us take one more definition here, random variable. So this is an important question. This question appeared in 2017. Let us take the definition of a random variable. A real variable associated with every outcome of a random experiment is called a random variable and is denoted by the letters X, Y, Z, etc. That is, in the last definition we have seen here a random experiment. The real number which associated with this random experiment is called random variable. For example, let us consider a random experiment of tossing coin. Since the possible outcome are getting a head or a tail, the sample space is S is equals to H and T, because here only there are two possible outcomes are there, either head or tail. If X is the random variable which associates a real number 1 for the outcome head, and if head comes then its real number is 1. If head comes means no, we cannot get a tail, so therefore this real number associated with the tail is 0. So for this outcomes tail is 0, that is X of H is equals to 1 and X of T is equals to 0. So this is about the random variable. This question is important. So here we have two types of random variables. One is discrete random variable and another is continuous random variable. So the difference between discrete and continuous random variable is, in discrete random variable, a random variable takes finite number of values. So that is, for example, the outcome of tossing a coin or a die. Here we have only two. In this tossing a coin, we have only two outcomes. But in a continuous random variable, we have infinite number of values. That is, an example here is weight or length of an object. So next is a very important topic, that is a discrete probability function. Let x, so this is very important definition, because on this definition we have 5 marks questions. Let x be a discrete random variable if for every value xi of x there associate a real number p of xi under a function p of x such that first condition p of xi is greater than or equals to 0, and second one is sigma I p of xi is equals to 1. Then the function p of x is called discrete probability function. So let us take one note here. The probability that x takes the values xi is p of xi or pi, that is p of x is equals to xi and it is equals to p of xi or p of I. Then it is called probability density function. In short, we can write it as here PDF, probability density function, or we can also say that it is probability mass function, and in short we can write it as PMF. We use this notation in examples also, PDF. Let us take a discrete probability distribution. The set of values xi, p of xi is called a discrete probability distribution of the discrete random variable x. The distributive function f of x is defined by f of x is equals to p of x less than or equals to small x is equals to sigma I is equals to 1 to x p of xi, where x is an integer is called cumulative distribution function. We can also denote it as CDF. Next come to the definition of this mean and standard deviation of discrete probability distribution. This is also very important, because here we have a 5 marks question on this topic. Let us take the mean here. We know mean is equals to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. This we have studied in the last topic also. And sigma square is equals to this sigma f of fi xi minus x bar whole square divided by sigma fi. In this case, p of xi corresponds to the fi, and also we have sigma fi is equals to sigma p of xi and it is equals to 1. Then we can define mean, and is denoted by mu is equals to sigma I of xi p of xi, and standard deviation it is denoted by SD or sigma is equals to under root of v, and where the variance v is equals to sigma I xi minus mu whole square into p of xi. So we use these 3 definitions while solving the examples. We can also write variance v as sigma I xi whole square into p of xi minus sigma I xi of p of xi whole square. So we use these 3 definitions for finding mean, standard deviation. So in standard deviation only we have here variance v, where variance v formula we use from equation number 3. Let us take one example here. Show that the following distribution represents discrete probability distribution, and hence find the mean and standard deviation. Here the table is given, x and f of x and p of x are given. So by the data it is clear that you have to write this is xi and this is p of xi. This is p of x1 is 1 by 8, p of x2 is 2 by 8, p of x3 is 3 by 8, and p of x4 is 2 by 8. and these are all greater than 0 we know here. So that is here the definition of a probability distribution. We know that P of xi is greater than 0 for all xi. The first condition is satisfied. And also second condition is sigma P of xi, that is P of x1, P of x2, P of x3 plus P of x4. After adding all these we should get 1. So second condition also satisfies. So hence from these two conditions we can say that it is a discrete probability distribution. Now we have to find here mean mu is equals to sigma I equals to 1 to 4 xi P of xi, and if you expand this you will get x1 P of x1 plus x2 P of x2 plus x3 P of x3 plus x4 P of x4. Substitute the values here. This is x1 is 10. This is x1 here. This question is important. This is x1, this is x2, this is x3, and this is x4. This is P of x1, this is P of x2, this one is P of x3, and this one is P of x4. So after substituting all these values here we get to 8 by 8, it is equals to 1. So therefore we can say that it satisfies this condition, and mean value we can get from this formula. After simplification you will get here 27.5. Next, variance is given by V is equals to sigma I is equals to 1 to 4 xi minus mu whole square into P of xi. So here xi is again x1. If you expand this one you will get, if you expand this one again you will get here x1 minus mu whole square P of x1 plus x2 etc. plus x2 etc. So we can expand here directly. This is x1, x1 is 10, and minus this one mu is 27.5 whole square. Add all these, substitute all these values. After simplification you will get V as 93.75, and we know standard deviation sigma is equals to under root of V, and it is equals to 9.68. So this completes this formula, this example. Let us take one more example. This example is very important. This question appeared in 2017 for 5 marks. So here also we have to find the value of k for which the following distribution represents a discrete probability distribution. Hence find its mean and standard deviation, and also find P of xi, x greater than or equals to 1, P x greater than 1, and P when x is minus in between minus 1 and 2. This table is given. You have to find the value of k. So again for the given distribution, to the probability distribution we must have, this is the conditions of discrete probability distribution. So that is here for all xi, P of xi is greater than or equals to 0, and sigma P of xi is equals to 1. So let us add these all here. P of x1, this is, you have to add all these things, k plus 2k plus 3k plus 4k plus 3k plus 2k plus k is equals to, it should be equals to 1. This is from the definition of discrete probability distribution. So after adding all this you will get here 16k is equals to 1. So this implies k equals to 1 by 16. So thus you have to substitute this value of k in the table. So this table becomes here minus 3, 1 by 16, all these things. So wherever k is there you have to substitute 1 by 16, then table becomes like this. Then find the value for mu equals to, we know sigma I is equals to 1 to, here there are 7 terms, so it is 1 to 7 xi P of xy. So after expanding this, if you expand this you will get like this here, x1 P of x1 plus x2 P of x2 plus etc. up to x7 P of x7. So these are all here, we know this is x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. This is P of x1, P of x2, P of x3, P of x4, P of x5, P of x6, P of x7. So after adding all these values you will get here mu is equals to 0. And next variance, you can find here variance V equals to, we know sigma I is equals to 1 to 7 xi minus mu whole square into p of xi. Since here mu is 0, we can neglect this one, so it becomes sigma I equals to 1 to 7 this xi whole square into p of xi. So after adding all these values and after simplification, you will get this variance as 5 by 2, and we know standard deviation is sigma equals to under root of v. So under root of 5 by 2 is equals to 1.5811 we get here. So after this, it is also asked to find p of x when x is less than or equals to 1. So it is equals to, we know here x is less than or equals to 1 means in the table here x is less than or equals to 1 means we have these values. This is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0 and 1 up to these values you have to consider. So that is here it is equals to sigma x equals to minus 3 to 1. From the table started from minus 3, you have to take up to 1 x value less than or equals to 1. So p of xi is equals to p of minus 3, p of minus 2, p of minus 1, p of 0 and p of 1, because these are all the values which are given in the table. So minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0 and 1. So after adding all these values and p of x1 is there in the table, p of x1 is 1 by 16, you have to add all these values again. You will get this value is 13 by 16. And second example is p of x greater than 1. So when x is greater than 1, we have only two values, 2 and 3. So p of 2 plus p of 3, after adding these two values you will get 3 by 16. And last one is p when x is greater than or equals to minus 1, less than or equals to 2. So in the table we have here this x value is in between what, minus 1 to 2. Minus 1 to 2 means you have to take these values when x is greater or equals to minus 1 and less than or equals to 2. So you have to take these four values, p of minus 1, p of 0, p of 1 and p of 2. So these values you have to take here. So these values are 3 by 16 plus 4 by 16 plus 3 by 16 plus 2 by 16. After adding all these values you will get here 12 by 16. This completes this example. So this is very important question. You will get 5 marks for this. Similarly, we have some other examples. You can solve yourself, and if you find any difficulties, ask me.